Hello, my name is Thu and welcome to the YNOT Health video on reproductive biology and stigma. Growing up, you will go through different stages of change that would often be hard to track and even harder to make sense of. This video will be focusing on a common and important, basic yet complex state of change that everybody goes through, and that state is puberty. Now, there are three things you should note before we move forward. Firstly, puberty is a temporary phase of life that everyone experiences, so you are not alone and whatever you are feeling, it's valid. Secondly, everybody grows at their own pace, so experiencing changes earlier or later than your peers, it's more common than you think. The time and duration that these changes begin varies from person to person. This chart shows a typical sequence and normal range of development for the milestones of sexual development, which occur in a set of sequences. Thirdly, puberty can be physically, mentally, and emotionally challenging as the mind adjusts to new hormones, but it also brings physical, mental, and social changes that are worth looking forward to. Okay, now let's get into the interesting scientific fact of puberty. There's an area of the brain called the hypothalamus which sends chemical signals known as hormone via bloodstream to the rest of the body and initiates puberty. The body is now ready and starts by releasing two crucial hormones, the LH and FSH, from the pituitary gland, which is a P-shaped gland located at the bottom of the brain. These special hormones work on different reproductive organs for different sex, the ovaries in females and the testes in males. These shifting hormone levels result in sexual, physical, and psychological maturation over time. Additionally, there are also other influencing factors of puberty such as genetics, which accounts for 50 to 80% of variation in the time puberty begins, environmental factors such as nutritional status, leptin, which regulates appetite and metabolism through hypothalamus, aprinarchy, which is the development of hair, body odor, and acne. During puberty, the body grows and goes through many internal and external changes, including the increase in height, growth of breast in both females and males, weight gain, hair growth, development of acne as a result of more oil production. Puberty also has the following psychological effects due to the changes in hormones level. Developing intensifying emotions and mood swing, being closed off to parents or the discussion of sex in general, the start of sexual thoughts, desires, and romantic attraction to others. Now let's get into puberty in males. First sign of puberty in boys as a result of LH and FSH hormone is when testicles get bigger and the scrotum begins to thin and redden. Here are some later signs of puberties in boys. After about 4 years of puberty, males develop more adult-like features, height development at a slower rate, and stop growing completely at around 16 years of age. Most boys will have reached full adult maturity by the age of 18. Now let's discover the puberty in female. The first sign of puberty in girls is usually breast development. Pubic hair also starts to grow. Here are some later signs of puberty in girls. Around 2 years after the start of puberty, girls usually have their first period. Discomfort, mood swings, and cramps are quite common during menstruation. The menstrual cycle lasts on average 28 days. This process happens as the lining of the uterus begins to break down and bleed away. Some eggs begin to develop in one of the ovaries. Normally, only one egg will reach maturity, in which in turn increase estrogen, leading to the increase in LH, which is responsible for the release of mature egg from the ovary around day 14, which is known as ovulation. The egg begins to travel down the fallopian tube toward the uterus. The lining of the uterus thickens to prepare for implantation of a fertilized egg. If the egg is not joined with the sperm and become fertilized, it will die. Together with the thickened lining of the uterus, it leaves the body through the vagina and bleeding occurs. And here are the common changes to girl after about 4 years of puberty. One aspect of psychological maturation that occurs as a result of puberty is sexual motivation, or libido. It is a person's overall drive or desire for sexual activity and is determined by biological, social, and psychological factors. Biological factors being sex hormones that control the ability to engage in sexual behaviors. Social factors include work, family, and existing relationships. Internal psychological factors are determined by one's personality or stress management skills. Now, you may feel some discomfort over the explanation of desire, and it is normal considering from a cultural perspective, conversations about sexuality is surrounded by stigma and often considered a taboo, as sexual desire is widely believed to undermine the institution of marriage. Even though having sexual desire is normal, sexual activity should only be started with the right and trustworthy person, only when you feel ready to make informed and safe choices. Consensual decision making over sexual behavior and developing equal, respectful relationships are important because any sexual activity for which you are ill prepared may have emotional, physical, and financial consequences. On that note, we have some important reminders for you. First, having desire isn't shameful. It is a normal thing that everyone experiences, regardless of their culture. However, consensual decision making over sexual behavior is still incredibly important. Second, your sexual activity does not define your values, virtues, or character. Third, there's no rush to be in a romantic relationship or to have sex. And lastly, the person you have your first time with should be someone you trust, and sexual activity should only happen with mutual consent. Thank you for watching, and we hope that you find this video useful. This was brought to you by the YNOT Health team.